Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ray Bones and Nodder Show. We have another local legend in the building tonight. We have Mr. Mikey Aldrich. So make sure you guys stick around, watch the episode, grab a cocktail, and let's go.
Johnny, that's better than most. How about in? That is better than most. Better than most.
And the 3-2 pitch. Swung on a drill to right field. Going back Sanders on the track at the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! A home run by Derek Jeter. He pumps his fist in the air as he rounded first. He'll hit on third base. He high-fives Willie Randolph and the entire Yankee team. Boston at home plate as he leaps onto the dish. With a
toss sweep right for James White. Puts it up in the right arm. Puts it upfield. Driving forward. Diving to the goal line. It's still a touchdown. And a title for the Patriots.
I can't believe it.
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. Led by the greatest quarterback.
I love you guys. And my family, to my family, my wife Vanessa, my daughters Natalia and Gianna, thank you guys for all your sacrifice. For all the hours I spent in the gym working and training. And Vanessa, you holding down the family the way that you have. I can't, there's no way that I can thank you enough for that. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And what can I say? Mamba out.
Woo! Here's the first tough question of the night for you, Mr. Mikey Aldrich. What do you think of that intro?
I like it.
Are you fired up?
I am fired up. I kind of didn't know what was actually going on. I'm like looking all over the place, totally having no clue, but it was a pump up.
It's a pump up, right?
I'm just distracted by all these lights and everything else going on.
Yeah.
Pumped up.
Yeah, it's like a fluffer.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
You get a little fluffed up for the show, and let's go. So
yeah, that's it.
Let's go.
Let's go, guys. Here we are. It's Tuesday night. Ray Bones Nodder, and we got Mikey Aldrich in the house.
Mikey Aldrich, good friend of mine, former teammate, former head coach over at UConn Avery Point. He's doing some coaching over at Fitch in Groton, Connecticut. And, one of the best dudes I've known through the years. We played a lot of baseball together, played a lot of baseball against each other. And we're happy to have you on, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for asking me to come on. I was honored and excited when I got the text from Nodder over here.
Yeah, man. Well, as you know, we had, a real local legend, like a real local legend, Roger Bidwell on. And we talked about you a little bit. And I figured, baseball's right around the corner. Let's get into some local sports. I have a huge baseball background. Obviously, UConn Avery Point being a huge impact in my life and in your life as well. So, Roger came on and I figured, let's just do it back to back. Let's get Roger and Mikey on at the same time. Let's just go it bang, bang, boom.
Speaking of back to back, Yaya, can you throw that comment up there, please? Because I don't even think Nodder saw it.
I didn't even see it yet. I didn't even see it yet.
Our friend Anthony Giansanti, he said
true.
that you guys were back to back 3 times in one game.
Giansanti, that might have been the best team ever established.
He talked about that team when we had him on the show, actually. You guys were stacked. You guys were unbelievable.
I would say 13 of the 16 kids on it played professional baseball.
Yeah, it was insane. It was like it was you, Gio, Harvey, Hahn. Jesse Hahn was on that team. Bono, yep. You guys were freaking
now I got to start from the top. We had Giansanti, Bono, Harvey, Hahn, and there was more. Epps.
Patty Epps.
He should have had a chance to play pro ball.
He should have been drafted. I talk about that all the time. Yeah.
Who else did we have? Having a little bit of a
no. That's
stacked.
Stacked team. He said that was the best team he ever played on, hands down, and I believe it. Seeing all those names on that list.
Taylor Lewis on that team?
He might have been. Yeah, Taylor got drafted, University of Maine, and then he went to the Pirates. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we talk about this a lot on the show. Southeastern Connecticut doesn't get enough credit for the baseball players that are produced from this area. You know what I mean? Like we talk all the time about, you know, our team, and we talked about it with Roger, just the local talent that's around here, and just the fact that some guys that should have gotten an opportunity to play pro ball, like Pat Epps, I always thought was, I mean, the kid hit over 400. He was the best hitter, hands down, on Central's team. And
he also hit a lot of home runs.
Hit a lot of home runs. And everybody, you know, after talking to him and talking to other players he was with, everybody was worried about like where he would go defensively. He was a really, really good hitter. They could have molded him. Pat was an athlete. He was an athlete. He could have played, you know.
They don't like to recruit DHs.
Yeah, that's true.
My understanding.
That's true.
Really, really, really good. I know from experience.
You do. You do. So yes, you do.
That type of stuff doesn't happen. But I was playing against Pat I was on Hartford and he was at Central. And I thought he earned an opportunity for a chance to play at the next level, but unfortunately, it just didn't come for him.
Yeah.
But he you know, he's a Central. I'm sure they haven't forgot him up there.
No, I'm sure he's probably in the record books up there. I would imagine for some offensive stuff going on. So yeah, everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. This is the Ray Bones and Otter Show. We are now live on Forward TV's YouTube page and on the Forward TV Facebook page. So if you're not watching on Do Not Sports, head over there and watch it as well, guys. This is great. This is our first official show with the Forward TV launch. So this is a pretty big deal, buddy. Pretty big deal. You should be honored.
Thank you for letting me be the initiator here.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. So listen, so for those who don't know who Mikey is, we're going to let him talk a little bit about his career as a player, and then maybe go into a little bit of coaching over at UConn Avery Point. Because I remember the day that I found out that you were taking over the team, and I was thrilled. I was completely just absolutely excited for you. So if you want, just tell a little bit about yourself and you know, your experience as far as baseball. And you were a hell of a football player too, if I remember correctly. You know, so dive into a little bit of that if you don't mind.
Thank you for saying that.
Of course.
So I started my high school career at Fitch High School. I'm a Mystic kid. Spent my freshman year at Fitch, and you know, I played freshman baseball, freshman football. Wasn't some highly touted anything. And my dad and all my family are from St. Bees. So both sides. My mom's brother, sisters, St. Bees grads. My dad, his older brother and sister, St. Bees grads. So my dad actually made me transfer to go up to St. Bernard's on the Hill. And I was not too happy about it at the time, to say the very least. And it actually wound up kind of, changing my trajectory. But in the end, I'm happy that I did get a chance to go there. I met people from all over the place, right, instead of just kind of staying in the little Mystic bubble, if you will. I had friends from Willimantic all the way to Westerly, Rhode Island. Yeah. So it was a good experience. And in terms of baseball, we had some good teams at St. Bees. Yeah, you did. And it was a joy to play. And obviously we lost to Montville and Waterford pretty much every year, which, what are you going to do? Yep. But got a state championship ring as a senior for baseball. And awesome. Yeah. I also got a chance to play in a state tournament football game. And we had to play Hill House of New Haven. Oof. And
how did that work out?
We were
you're still alive.
I think we were losing 28-0 4 minutes into the game, and 4 of our best players had concussions.
Yeah. Hill House, you do not mess around with Hill House. It just doesn't happen.
That's at St. Bernard's. St. Bernard's played a state championship.
Yeah, because we were.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 07.
Oh,
so
okay.
It would have been 06.
Jesus. Graduated in 99, so we're a few years apart.
Yeah. But Hill House is no joke, man. I remember that. I remember when that game was pretty hyped up. I mean, I was a Montville kid, obviously, but I paid attention to St. Bees. And when I found out you guys were playing Hill House, I'm like, oh God, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing.
It happened. What everybody thought was going to happen did happen, and we got absolutely steamrolled. But we got there. We didn't belong in the M division at that time. No. We were a co-op with Norwich Tech. Sure. So we had to count their student population, and we were in the M division, and we definitely didn't belong there. And
because you guys were small for baseball.
We were
Right.
small for baseball. But we had that co-op with
Mm.
Norwich Tech, which made us M for the state that year.
Which is crazy.
But it was fun, man.
Yeah.
Great memories. And then if I'm
No,
am
go.
I going to still continue
No,
to
go
talk
for it,
about
man.
my
No,
life?
yeah. I mean,
this
listen,
is-
you got some
know?
people watching right now that are reaching out to you. Mike Howard, former AP guy, he's
Mikey.
watching.
Hi, Mikey.
We got
Coach Greca. He
Yeah.
was there. He is. He was one of the coaches. He was one of the coaches on that team.
You absolute stud of
So
a man.
real quick,
Yeah.
we have something in common. Because Greco was one of my coaches as well
Mhm.
at Griswold.
So age did not.
Age
Coach
doesn't-
Greca must be real old then, huh?
Actually, you know what? No, he's probably only a couple of years older than I am. But he was coaching at Griswold.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
I graduated in 99. So he's probably like 94 or 5.
There you go.
95 maybe. 90, yeah, he's somewhere in there.
See, there you
I don't
go.
know, Greco, what year did you graduate?
You
I
never
don't know. Very,
very
old.
old.
Yeah.
Very old.
Hey, very old, but you know what? You're still pumping out babies, man. Beautiful babies.
Look at that, Jeff Smith.
Congratulations on your.
Look at
on
Jeff
your
Smith.
newborn.
Hey, Mikey Notter, AP greats. I don't know if you put me
Hey.
down as an AP great, but I was appreciative to get the opportunity to play there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And you
Had a
threw
good-
strikes.
95.
I threw a lot. I did. I
strike
threw a
zone.
lot of strikes. I had 0 walks. I didn't walk a batter my whole first year, and then I got hurt. But
Yeah.
you know, but yeah. So
Greek was a
Go
good
ahead.
football player too, by the way. He was an all-stater, I believe.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
there you go. There you go. So yeah. So Mikey, you go to St. B's, then you start your career at Avery Point. We both graduated the same
Can I
year.
backtrack a little bit?
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
hold
Go
on.
for it.
Before you do that, can you put that comment up there? Thank you very much for that. Jero, I appreciate you, man. Right here, brother.
Jerome Posey, another Montville kid watching tonight.
You got some nice hair, Ray.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
His hair is unbelievable. It's always on point. John Watt over in New London,
Otto's
Ottawa
on
Bank.
Bank.
Yeah.
There's a free plug for you, buddy. I expect a haircut next time I go in.
There you go. There you go. That's it.
All right, let's
That's
get
it.
back to Allstate. I knew he was.
There you go.
Greek was a
What's up,
stud.
Kevin Skolchek? Thanks for checking in, News Rocky. So go ahead, Mikey.
So you're in high school, right? You're a senior. You know, what's your next step going to be?
Right.
Every kid's going crazy, and obviously, I teach high school right now, so I'm trying to have these conversations with kids. And I knew that I wanted to play the highest level of baseball that I could.
Mhm.
I got recruited more to play football because I was a DH.
Right.
But
Right.
unlike Pat Epps, I actually looked like a DH
Yeah, that's true.
at that
You
point
did.
in time.
Yeah.
So I went on some visits to schools, and nobody recruited me to play Division I baseball, but I had a goal to do it.
Mhm.
I got recruited to play D3 football, and Roger Bidwell
Comes along.
gives me a phone call.
The
And
legend.
he's like, hey, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
What do you want to
Literally,
do,
just
Mikey?
like
What
that.
do you
He's
want
like,
to do?
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
Like, what do you want to do? And I
Yep.
was like, Coach, I want to. I'll never forget. It was in the Branford House,
Branford
beautiful,
House.
all done up woodwork.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And I told him I wanted a chance to play Division I baseball because at that point in time, the ECC was absolutely stacked.
Stacked.
We talked about this a little bit before, but
Mm.
when you're talking about, the Giansanis, I'll probably leave somebody out, the Bonos, the Harveys, the Hans, the Matt Brownings.
Matt Browning, yeah.
The Brian McGugans. I know that was a little bit before us. And I'm
ECC
sure I'm
is just
missing
always stacked,
many
though.
people. Taylor Lewis.
Taylor
I know I
Lewis,
mentioned
yeah.
his name.
Yep.
But there's a lot. Tyler Turgeon. I'll mention some of my own teammates.
Yeah.
Tyler was a good player.
Yep.
Could mention like 7 Waterford guys.
Yeah, it's crazy. Amonte and Farina, all those guys. Yeah, yeah.
And all these guys are getting scholarships.
Right.
And I'm like,
What the
dude, I'm
hell?
hitting 500 as a senior with 7 bombs or
Yep.
whatever. Like, and I know now looking back on it, like
Right.
why I didn't get those opportunities. Like I didn't take care of my body and I wasn't in shape.
Mhm.
But that's what motivated me to just, I don't want to say take a chance, but I was like, I knew what I wanted. I knew if I stayed at home, I'd save some money for my family.
Sure.
And I, went to Avery Point
Mhm.
for that reason.
Yep.
And honestly, my life was changed forever.
Yeah,
Not to
absolutely.
sound like, this is a rom-com movie, but like I'm 31 years old and I've spent 13 years of my life as basically Avery Point.
Yeah.
Like coaching or playing.
Yep.
And it worked out for me. You know, I played for Coach Bidwell. I got to play for Coach Vargas, got to play for Coach Harvey, got to play for all these legendary people. And, you know, I'm grateful. Yeah. And I still to this day don't know, you know, how I wound up coaching for 4 years. I'm sure many other AP alum don't either.
But I remember when I heard and found out that you were coaching, and then you eventually got the big spot, you know, at AP, and I'm like, you know what though, it doesn't surprise me because I played with Mikey Aldrich. I know Mikey Aldrich well. He's got this way to communicate, and I thought it was perfect because you're one of those guys that when we played together, you know, you're laid back, just kind of like taking everything in, but very, very fierce competitor when you hit the field. And I thought that was going to be perfect for these younger guys that are coming out of high school, right? You need to kind of just take everything in, experience, you know, the opportunity that you have in front of you. But at the same time, don't forget why you're there either. You know what I mean? Like that was a good mix of the type of personality you were when I played with you. You know what I mean? Because once the game was over, it was just like, we're going to relax. We're going to chill out. But when the game was on, it was game on. We don't, you know, you didn't mess around, which is why I thought you were a perfect choice for that head coaching spot.
I think Roger just wanted to retire, and I was the only able-bodied that could still walk on the coaching staff. That's basically probably how it happened.
Well, you know what though? He did say, because we asked him, I said, Raj, when did you know you were done? When did you know that you didn't have any more in the tank? And he told Brayna, he's like, when I didn't want to go out and recruit and watch these kids play anymore. And that's a lot of it. I mean, how much you went through a lot of that, obviously, when you were coaching over there.
Coach Bidwell had a little bit of a different setup. You know, he was the athletic director, so he was on campus all day. He was like, you know, obviously he was a figure on the campus.
Sure.
And my situation was a little bit different because I've been teaching at Fitch High School for the last 8 years. Mm-hmm. So like going on the road, like for me, it's, you know, I'm at Fitch at 7 and then I'm racing. I'm trying to get all my work done by 2:22 and I'm racing across town because I got 28 degenerates to worry about over there. And like recruiting, fundraising, all those types of things, like it takes a toll. And I know that Roger, you know, being with him as long as I was with him for, like, the man did not take shortcuts.
Oh no, never.
And essentially, like he sorry, I'm not looking at you, Ray. I haven't seen Nana in a while.
Does he want to call into the show right
That's
now?
my Uncle Kevin. I don't know what he's calling.
Sorry, we'll throw him on the Bluetooth Kev, if you want.
What's up, Uncle Kev? What's going on?
I'm going to call you back, Uncle Kev.
Listen, I mean, hey, send him a text message. Make sure it's not, you know, nothing important.
No, I completely forgot what we were talking about.
You said how much you missed me and you hadn't seen me in a while. So then, you know.
And then you looked at me and said, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at you. So, I mean, it's cool, man. You know, Notter's obviously got that nice big smile on his face. And
you know.
Difference between college and high school baseball in terms of being the coach is college baseball is probably 10% on the field activities.
Yep.
So you're recruiting, you're fundraising, you're grinding, and it's literally 10% of the total amount of time is the fun on the field type of stuff. Maybe 20.
Yep.
You know, that's the difference.
Right.
That's the difference in it.
That's rough. I mean, you want to spend 90% on the field and 10% on doing all the other
That's
crap.
true.
So
that's true.
Be a high school coach.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
right.
And that's like the grind, right? That's the grind of coaching at another level. Because in high school, you got what you got. You know, it's not like you can go out and, you know, it's like, God, who's the legend football coach around here? He was at New London. He was
Cochran.
Yeah.
Cochran.
You know, like Cochran. Jack, right? And I'd love to get him on the show. If anyone has any ties to Jack, tell him we're looking for him. Because I would love to interview him. The guy's coached great players and he's kind of traveled around, but he's paying attention to everything that's going on in the state. And, you know, he's helped some kids for sure.
I feel like he ran his high school program like a college program.
Yeah.
Not really.
He's got the record. I mean, the track record for it. My high school football coach, Bob Brackett, he ended up leaving Griswold and he ended up in New London. And I believe he might have worked a year with Cochran. And then he ended up taking over, I believe, for Cochran after he left. So it's You know, hey, yeah, that guy's name is gold in Connecticut. I mean, whether you like it or not. And honestly, I was thinking he was going to go over to St. B's. That would have been a prime spot.
That was like the best little buzz we ever heard. We were like, oh, God,
dude, that would have been amazing.
Cocker's going to take over.
Yeah, you're going to have like 10 state championships.
And then that didn't work out.
Yeah. But it's funny. So you mentioned, so I'm obviously quite a few years older. You mentioned St. B's being in Class M and you had to play Hill House. So back in my time, 8 years earlier, we were in Class M as well. And there was a team called Bloomfield. On that Bloomfield team, and this is the class of 98. This is my junior year. They had a kid named Andrew Pinnock who went on to play fullback at South Carolina, fullback for the San Diego Chargers. Another guy, Dwight Freeney, probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Dwight Freeney.
All-stater, and my buddy Travis Senekosoff, all-state picture, Class M. Travis Senekosoff from Griswold, Dwight Freeney from Bloomfield. You know how much that picture's worth?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you shitting me? Are you kidding me? But it's super cool to just kind of, I think what they're doing now, isn't it different what they're doing with the teams and how they're classifying them? It's not necessarily the number of kids in the school, but isn't it based on success as well? Or are they not? So it's weird. I can't really keep track.
I was never able to figure it out.
Either. Like I haven't, I was doing the Avery Point thing and then I transitioned to get my master's. So I was like going to school full time for a year.
Sure.
I have not fully kind of invested my brain into the high school coaching yet, to be honest. So I don't know kind of what they're doing. Like I was, a guy across the room from me is the women's basketball coach at St. Bernard's. And I'm like, hey, how many games you guys playing? They're like, oh, we're playing 10 games. Everything's up. Everything's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Everything's like
COVID the destroyer.
Everything's flowing. Nobody knows what's going on. How many baseball games are we going to play? We're going to play baseball.
Right.
Are we even going to play the game?
I mean, what is that looking like now for you? So you're going to be helping out over at Fitch, over at the baseball team over there. That's got to be kind of cool for you to go back to your original roots. But what is that like? Dealing with all this COVID stuff. How hectic is it? I mean, like you said, you're not really sure if you're going to be playing. I mean, all signs right now, I would hope, are leaning towards yes. I mean, how is that going throughout the school?
I would say it's tough for me to, again, speak to the coaching part at Fitch because I have not ever been a coach there yet.
Exactly.
So I was all set to help out last spring and then
everything happened.
So honestly, in terms of the spring sports, I think we're confident that it's going to happen. Obviously it's outdoors, which is a bonus. So, I guess me reading on my own, I would say that I'm confident and I'm hopeful that will play. In terms of being a teacher, it's definitely been a very unique 365 days as a school teacher.
I'm telling you, man, it's got to be incredibly difficult. My brother's a teacher in Waterbury, and it's been a nightmare for him. He's a special ed teacher over at Waterbury Elementary School, and it's been crazy. So I can't imagine being a teacher at this time when everything is going on. It can't be easy. If
you think about it like this, we are all the most productive in our lives when we're in a good routine.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
it's true.
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about my routine right now. Never mind. I'm not going to get graphic on the show.
That's good, right?
I'm just being honest.
I love it. How do you expect 14, 15-year-old kid to get into a routine when you're telling him he's got to get up at 6 to catch the bus this day on a Monday, and then all of a sudden Thursday now we're sleeping in because we're home, and it's not anybody's fault. Like there's no fingers to be pointed. Like we got dealt this hand, and we all have to deal with it. But to be a high school student right now is not an easy thing. When you're, a thing I always live by is the worst thing for me personally is uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing what's next or having a problem and not having the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So for a year, these kids, all of us, have not had the answer.
Right.
Oh, are we gonna have a baseball? We're gonna have a baseball team. We're gonna play. That sucks.
Yeah,
that's brutal. It's brutal, especially for these kids. And we love talking about youth sports. in this area, Ray. And we always talk about like, man, we just really want these kids to be able to play like the opportunity we had. And it just sucks that all of this is happening because there's a lot of really good athletes out there that are looking to get to that next level or looking for a scholarship to play at a school. And they may not have that opportunity due to the fact that COVID is taking over.
Yeah.
You know,
what's even worse is when you're stuck at home with like a 5-year-old and they don't want to listen and, you know, sit in front of the Zoom meeting with the teacher and they're like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, or hey, I'm hungry, can you make me this, or hey, you know, and it's just like, oh my God, please go back to school. So, you know, we appreciate you guys.
yeah,
all-
we
all
do.
your
We
teachers.
really do.
I mean,
We really
I definitely appreciate you a lot more than I ever knew. You know, with what teachers actually do.
Yeah.
You're rock stars.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
really are, because I'm gonna tell you right now,
Unsung heroes,
like,
man.
absolutely. You know, my kid's 5. She's gonna be 6 soon. She's not easy. She's not easy to sit down in front of the, you know, in front of the computer and like listen to the Zoom the whole time. And it's kindergarten. This is an important time of her life. You know what I mean? She's learning how to like add, write letters, write numbers.
Yeah.
You know, simple stuff that it's like, holy crap, what is going on right now? These kids need to get in school.
Yeah.
I can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a reason I'm not a teacher.
Mm.
You know?
But it's the separation, like from home, that's good for them.
That's
and
good
that's
for
you,
everybody.
and it's
Yeah.
good for everybody.
Listen,
it's
mental health,
it's
bro.
a routine.
It's a routine, like you
Exactly.
said,
Out of
Mike.
a
It's the same
routine.
thing. Yeah.
It's tough to have success.
And you know what the worst part about routine is this ain't a routine. So don't get used to it, because this ain't happening. Like,
Right.
this can't be a routine for, you know, this
It
is your
can't be
first,
a routine for
this
Ray.
is your first. Oh my God, Jesus.
So,
Good thing I
Bri-
don't own a firearm. I'd probably shoot myself.
so
I'm only kidding. I'm just joking. I'm not being insensitive.
someone sent an ambulance over here.
Holy moly.
But Brian McDonald, who's going to be popping on here in a few minutes, he says, and Yahtzee, if you want to throw it up there, it's pretty funny. Ray's routine: wake up at 10, Call of Duty from 10:01 to 9 p.m., and then bed. Is that accurate, Ray?
That is not true.
You're playing a lot of Call of Duty these days, I hear.
Honestly, that's not true. I just happen to have a few saved in my phone to send to you guys just to mess with you.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
The midday shake weight after lunch.
Justin Wickham is a huge fan of the show. He's on here every single show. Shake weight. Oh yeah, Brian, by the way, when we get you on, Ray got the package in the mail that you sent him. So we're going to break that open and see the good stuff that you sent him in a few minutes.
Because you said there was a couple things in here, Brian. You said there was a couple. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Chris asked where his were. And I'm like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. So maybe you labeled them, or I just don't have to give him anything.
That's true.
But I figured I'd crack them open. Guys, we are going to do some card talking a little bit.
Absolutely.
So, you know, stand by for that. So that's going to be pretty good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got something I'm going to open up. There's some Panini Prisms in here.
Gold. Big money right now.
Prisms.
Panini Prisms.
Yeah,
you into the
Can
card stuff at all?
Can you educate me?
We
on
will.
Oh no, we're going to do it.
Wait until
We're
when
gonna do it
Brian
in a little
comes
bit.
on.
Because
When
we're
Brian comes
going
on.
to have Brian come on, and we're going to talk some like
Some cards and
we're
some
going to talk
sports.
some education.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's stock market of memorabilia, basically, is what we're going to do.
Nice.
That's how I classify it.
There you go.
And
So-
go from there. So
Yeah, absolutely. Mikey, what are you doing these days? I mean, obviously you're teaching, you're doing some fishing when the
what
season's
are you
up.
teaching? What's
I
your
teach special ed.
special ed? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Can
I
imagine
have-
it's
I
extremely
have-
difficult, but very rewarding at the same time.
It's happy.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe
That's
it.
awesome, man. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's great.
It's a bunch of different things. Like it's paperwork. I also teach, like I co-teach. So I'm teaching like biology, integrated science in
Mhm.
like a regular ed classroom.
Yep.
And then I have another science class that I teach on my own. So it's like I don't know, it's a blend of a whole bunch of different things. And then it's a little bit more paperwork,
Mhm.
I think, than some other teachers have, but it's been good. Like I've been doing it the whole time, and that's what I was saying. Like Roger's setup was a little bit different, where he was the athletic director, he was on campus.
Sure.
Not to say he had it easier than I did, because he didn't. I
Mhm.
built the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he was on campus, and I was doing that all day, my whole life, and then trying to basically keep the pieces together.
Right. Yeah.
And like, thank God I had, Coach Bidwell on campus for my first 3 years as coach, like
Yeah.
kind of keeping it together.
It's kind of like Ronald McDonald, right? His shoes are this big, and are you going to fill them?
It's an unbelievable analogy.
That is a
Just-
great analogy.
You went right to
No.
Ronald McDonald.
It's a
I love
great
that.
analogy.
But think about it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
because
true.
that's what
It's
he's
true.
saying. I mean, that's a tough job. You gotta, you know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
like, you know, Tom Brady leaving New England.
Yep,
Holy crap! Good luck to whoever's
Right.
next. And Cam didn't do it.
that's
I'm
it.
gonna tell you, the worst year of my life was my first year as the head coach at Avery Point.
Mm.
And here's what: I woke up every day, and I tried to be Roger Bidwell.
Yeah,
Like I actually did it.
You had the swag and everything.
Patient? No. See, that's the thing. It was a nervous Roger.
Oh, okay.
It was
All right.
like
All right.
It was like a panicked Roger. Like I'm getting on the field, it's game day. I'm pacing up and down the dugout. You know, as a coach, you give off fumes.
Oh, yeah, sure,
you
sure.
gotta be-
Smell that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't swear almost. Did.
No. Yeah. Hey,
They
it was good.
smell it.
Yeah.
Okay. Every
Blood in
day.
the water like sharks.
I was so overly nervous because, you know, when you're looking for a coaching opportunity, you want to take over a chicken shit program.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to take over a bad program and you want to grow it.
Elevate it,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the whole transition from me taking over Avery Point was a unique one. I would like to talk about that.
Sure. We got
But-
somebody that Rob
Sprafky,
Rob said you firsthand witnessed that first year.
that's very true, Robert. Very true.
Yeah.
You live and you learn, Sprafky, right? But long story short, that transition and the Ronald McDonald shoes, dude,
Yeah.
that experience changed my life forever because I felt so much pressure, like trying to even do it. And I did not have a choice in the matter. It was like this. This is how it went. Before the summer going into coach's last season,
Mhm.
he said, brought me in his office. He's like, Mike, guess what? You're taking over the program next year. This is my last year. So I had 365 days.
To prepare yourself.
There was,
And recruit.
Yeah.
Recruit.
you know, there was a bunch of job interviews, and I had to write 6 resumes out. And everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Coach said, get in my office. He's like, you're going to take the program over next year. And he's like, guess what? I'm not recruiting your team. and then he's like, guess what? Like, I'm going to be here for you,
right.
and I'm going to guide you. But this is your ship, man.
Don't let the ship sink.
Oof.
So
I can only imagine that. I can see that conversation happening. Like I can see it in my eyes, and I'm just like, oh my God. Brutal.
but he was there for me. Like it wasn't like I was truly on my own. He was, you know, trying to put the fear of God in me probably a little bit, and it worked because I was terrified.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, what the, like he's like, you're not telling your family, you're not telling nobody. He's like, this is what we're gonna do.
Mhm.
We're gonna recruit together.
Right.
So he had me making all the phone calls, and then he would meet with me with the players.
Right.
So it was like a kind of a seamless transition.
Oh yeah, it's like a job shadow.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He's like, all right, this is how I did it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And you know, it's like a guidance,
Right. Right.
Essentially.
I got to spend more time with, you know, Coach Bidwell, Coach Vargas, Coach Harvey, Coach Clark, all those
Clarky,
guys.
yeah.
Like, I am, for some reason, I just got lucky, Ray.
Yeah.
Nader kind of knows this.
Mm.
Like, I just got lucky, and I was a local boy, and I
Sure.
got kind of trapped in the AP life,
Yeah.
and that was that.
But you know what? There's a reason for that. You know, it's like you got lucky, but you also have like your personality and who you are, and that's a reason why things happen the way that they happen, right? I mean, I'm assuming you're a hard worker and you know,
Not
you're a
really.
person and personable. I mean, I'm assuming because, like, let's be honest, if we're gonna, you know, if I'm a coach of an AD and I see what I have in front of me and I'm like, I know that this dude can do it, then yeah, you might have got lucky, but you probably earned it somehow as well. So let's just say it was probably 50-50, or if you want to say it was 80-20, then fine, it's 80-20. Well, I'm going to go with 50-50, not knowing you, but talking to you and hearing you speak. You know, you make sense.
Yeah. It was.
You make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
You could make that argument, but
But I don't know. I mean, he could probably, and somebody out there, you guys can comment and you can tell him how to. What you guys think of his work ethic?
I mean, listen,
I don't know.
I was so obviously I played against Mikey a lot, high school Legion, a lot of Legion games, probably Little League if I can even go back and remember that far. But Mikey always just had a natural ability, especially hitting the baseball. The dude, I remember, quick story. I remember our very first fall ball game at AP. So Roger had the depth chart out, and it was me, you, and Mike Mitchick at third base because I played third base, I played first base, but I was primarily a pitcher. I knew I was going to go there.
Mike Mitchick.
One of the greatest human beings in the world.
Love you, Mike.
And Roger Bidwell said that. He goes, is he not like one of the greatest human beings in the world? I said, he is. I think he's out in Georgia now coaching. I think he's coaching out there.
I think he's got a fiance.
Yeah.
Social media checking.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
great dude, man.
Love you, Michael.
He's a horse, man. He was a horse, and I love that dude. But I remember, and Roger came up to me. He's like, hey, you're going to hit here. Play a little third base today. We'll see if we can get you in on the mound. I said, all right, cool, no problem. So I got my first 2 at-bats, struck out swinging twice.
Swinging,
swinging,
folks, and that's very important.
We're freshmen. This is our first fall ball game. I don't even yet. So I strike out swinging twice, and I know that I got Mike Mitchick and Mike Aldrich behind me, and I play with Mikey, so I know that I'm like, listen, I just struck out swinging. I'm probably going to get shipped right to the bullpen. There's a good chance that that's going to happen. Mikey gets up. I'm 99% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. You hit like a piss missile, dude, like a line drive.
Freaking laser.
Yeah, and he hit the ball very hard. And I saw him hit a home run at Eastern when we played Eastern that cleared the scoreboard. That was it felt like it was a 500-foot home run. But I remember Roger came right up to me and he goes, nice try. You're going to the fucking bullpen. I said, he goes, grab your bag. You're going to the bullpen. So that was it. He goes, nice try. You're going to the fucking bullpen. And I said, all right. I grabbed my glove and my cleats and I ran out there, and I was out there with, Tommy Lindbergh and Mikey Johnston, and Stevie Hiscock was out there, even though he played a little first base. So that bullpen family became my family. I had 2 chances to hit the ball or at least make contact. I didn't get them. So guess what? Boom. You're going right out to left field out there and over at Washington Park.
That's what made Coach the best.
Yeah.
Is he gave everybody a chance.
He did.
Even if it was only 2 ABs.
2 ABs, man. That's it. That's all I got, which is fine.
Nato could never come back and
that's
get
true.
After Coach. Oh, you want to hit? 0 for 2 2Ks. These guys are hitting
See ya.
seeds. Smell ya.
And I knew going in that I wasn't going to really have a chance because I knew I primarily went there for my pitching ability, which was fine with me because I always loved pitching. That was my thing. And when I found out that you were going, and then like Kevin Kapfer is another one. Kevin Kapfer, NFA kid, a hell of a catcher, unbelievable catcher. Like we were just stacked. Chris Thompson played with at Montville, Eric Jabber, St. B's kid, But yeah, it was awesome, man. But it was the great thing about Roger was he was brutally honest with you. Like, hey, you're not going to out hit Mikey Aldrich, so go to the bullpen. Bye. And that's when that's how I got
Run Club.
The Run Club. Oh God, the Run Club. Yeah,
Welcome to the Run Club, Matter.
Clarky ran us to death, but at the same time, that was when I was in the best shape of my life, man. I tell you what.
Wait, what?
No, I got a story. I got to
go for it. Go for it. We got to. Let's do it.
Do you remember the soccer fields or whatever we were on at Coco Expo right there?
Florida.
Remember
that was after one of the worst played games we had in Florida.
No, it was a doubleheader.
It was a doubleheader. That's right.
We played a doubleheader in the morning, got ran all over. We're talking, we've been training, at the Branford House on the lawn in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And then
throwing long toss in the snow.
Then we get on a plane, probably this time, maybe April 10th, April 14th.
Yep.
We go down to 90-degree heat in Florida.
Living the dream.
I think it was like our second doubleheader. We got rolled on, played like garbage.
Errors. I just remember being in the bullpen and seeing all the errors happening, and I'm like, this is not going to end well. We are definitely practicing after this game.
Coach Bidwell takes us over to. It was literally like a soccer field.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it was like
a big soccer field.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the throw down bases and he sets up an infield. And he starts hitting pitch missiles all over the place. We're doing ground ball work, running all over. And then he's like, after we were really gassed, doubleheader, then a practice, he's like, start running. And we literally did laps around this soccer field for what seemed like
hours.
Oh.
Chris
Endless.
Thompson, do you remember this?
Oh, yeah, Chris Thompson. I know Chris is probably
Shit.
watching.
And talk
Oh.
about like establishing like a little bit of toughness, like sending a message, being a leader,
Yeah.
and separating, the cream from the crop. Like
Right.
who is going to be tough? Who might not be my best player,
Mhm.
but who is going to be a tough SOB and
Mhm.
get out there and grind. And we found out who people were that day.
We did. Yeah.
And it was a tough day.
It was a tough day. And we had a great trip down there too. We played really well. That was just one of those days, man. We didn't have it. And I remember leaving, and I didn't even play that day. I think I might have actually pitched an inning or something, but I just remember after we were done and we got back to that motel or hotel, wherever the hell we were staying
That
at.
was me at the van.
Yeah.
Was it,
We're
a,
in the
was it a
vans.
Holiday Inn?
I think it was a Best West.
It might have been a Best Western. Yeah.
Or like, I think it might have actually been a Motel 8.
Yeah. It was, but I just
I
remember
remember.
coming back and nobody talked, Ray. I'm telling you, it was like nobody talked to each other. We're trying to figure out like where we're going to go to eat because some of our parents were down there and we could go with them and go eat and stuff. And we're walking around. We're like, do we leave? I remember being petrified. I'm like, I don't really know what we're supposed to do right now. We got to eat. We're hungry. We just ran for 3 hours out in the blazing sun.
Well.
Good memories though, dude. We had a great team. We had a lot of fun.
Now, is this the same team that was bringing balls back on the airplane?
That happened before us.
That was
'cause
before.
I remember I was all excited. We had all these pearls, and they were in these huge David like bucket sunflower. Like they were like it's like a garbage pail, but it was David sunflower seeds on it. And I remember being like sketched, like where did these come from? Roger, Jeff, they stole them. I think it was the year before.
Yeah, Roger told the story last week.
He told the story, and it was amazing.
It was hilarious. And Clarky, shout out to you, Clarky. We got to give him a quick shout out because he did say, I think those were the last laps I ever ran with you guys. And I think Clarky actually felt bad. I think he felt bad. You know what I mean? No joke.
Got to put
No
the fear of God in somebody.
And Clarky did do a few laps with us, and he's like, fuck, I'm not doing that. I don't need to do this. I've already done my running.
But let's talk coaching real quick. I mean, what's the best way to win over your players? I mean, obviously when you work with them, right? So when you have a coach who runs with you, and maybe you run with your players now, I'm not sure. What do you think the magnitude of that is when you do something like that? Like, what does it do to you as a player when your coach is running with you? Because you're like, because let's face it, I've had some older coaches that they're not going to run. They're not going to do that. They're going to sit there and they're going to tell us what to do. It is what it is. I get it, coach. You're 50-something years old and you don't want to run. I wouldn't want to. I don't want to run at I'm 40.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 40.
It's funny that you asked that question. It really is, and here's why.
All right.
Like Raj, like this. Because my biggest achievement as a baseball coach to this point was my second year as head coach. We made it out to Enid, Oklahoma. We went to the World Series. I was 26 years old. It was my team. Rogers recruits had gone. It was my crew.
Sure.
That was it. And we made it all the way out there. And it was fun. We had a really good team. And we were a little thin on pitching, but we had some hitters. We had a shortstop. We had some fucking players. We were good. And won the first game. Lost the second game. Lost the third game to the team that went on to actually win the national title.
Wow.
That we had actually beaten already, which is even funnier. We opened up with them and we beat them.
So you beat them and then
We
you ended
beat
up losing
them and we lost to Parkland. Was ranked third in the country. They had a kid throwing 96, 97. We still hit piss seat home runs off. And it was like, great. We were competing out there. You know, when we're 26,
Yeah.
26.
Awesome.
And it's just unbelievable. So we get knocked out. And I'm sitting at the hotel bar with some of the parents. All the kids come down about 10:30, 11 o'clock. The entire group. And they're like, Coach Aldrich. It was like a back patio set up.
Sure.
And they're like, Coach Aldrich, we want to do one last set of core with you. Because although I didn't pay attention to my well-being in high school when I should have, when I had a chance to play.
Sure.
I did my best to run and do conditioning with my players because
Awesome.
I was probably young enough to do it,
Mhm.
but because of exactly where you were going
Mhm.
with this. I know
Yeah.
where you were going with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like, if you're going to torture somebody, like, you know, when you're a young kid, you're like, this guy's an asshole. He's torturing me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you don't understand the value of being in physical shape when you are like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years. You just don't really get it.
Mhm.
And like, I learned about physical conditioning from, you know, Coach Bidwell and like getting in shape. So when I did become the head coach at Avery Point, I did try and run. I did try and do
Yeah.
core.
Yep.
With the boys because they hated it, man.
Yeah.
And you're making them do it every day.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, you almost force yourself to be like, look, if I'm going to make you do it and you're going to bitch and complain about it,
Mhm.
then I'm going to do it with you because
Yeah.
I'm doing it after anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and it definitely helped bring our group together. And
Sure,
story,
I mean,
that story is the reason.
that's-
I'm
that's
in
a great-
Oklahoma.
The respect, right?
I'm doing, you know, toe touches at midnight with my whole team in the parking lot of a hotel in Enid, Oklahoma. The highlight of my coaching career to this point.
That's an awesome story.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I remember the days at AP, man. We ran and we worked our butts off. I give you a lot of credit, man. That's awesome that you did that. And your players will never, ever forget that, just like you didn't forget that story. You know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible, man. Well, that is awesome. You want to bring Brian on? What do you think?
yeah, he's probably waiting. I'm sure.
Brian?
Oh, God,
There he is.
Uh,
There.
so everybody, this is Brian Mack. He rocks with us every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody already knows. But Mikey, that's Brian. Brian, Mikey, you guys have now been.
You guys are
Can
now.
I see Brian's face somewhere?
Oh yeah, you got
there's
the
a-
ring
Oh,
light.
yeah,
The ring
yeah.
light's missing you.
Hi,
Yeah.
Brian. Nice bald beard look you got going on.
Hey, what's up, Mikey?
Looking sharp.
Hold on.
Well, it's about time we get the show going here. I mean, Christ.
What the hell? I can't even hear him.
You can't hear him. I can hear him perfectly fine. Can you hear him, Mikey?
I can hear him crystal.
Yeah, crystal clear. Yeah.
Oh, I can hear him now.
All right, there you go.
All right, Ray. Christ.
Brian, what is going on, my man? Obviously, you got to kind of catch up and see Mikey's story and see why he's here. And he's a local legend, man. He's a good friend of mine. And, you know, obviously, you just heard those stories. It's pretty awesome. So let's. What do you got for us, buddy? You got anything lined up you want to talk about? I know we're going to talk about a little bit of card action. Ray wants to open up his mail that he got from you.
Yep.
But more
know?
importantly, do you have any questions for our guest?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
This is what.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you guys know I'm so long story short, Mikey's sort of a legend myself in my own eyes. Just throwing that out there. But I've been always, a big, I guess you could say, leader in the youth sport and youth development field, just in terms of, we've had episodes in the past where I truly believe that, especially in baseball, football, basketball is probably the only main sport that's really picking up headway the past X amount of years. But, since the whole Junior Seau incident and, the heads up involvement with youth football and baseball really losing, I mean, it's one of the least viewed sports now in the United States. And a big part of that, and what I truly believe is the youth development phase, especially in those two sports. So what do you think if you were a parent, okay, and your kid, let's just put a kid's age at 8 to 12. You have an 8 to 12-year-old kid. What are the three biggest things that you look for, that you would look for in a coach? And that can deal with the sport itself, that can deal with, like I said, the actual youth development aspect of it. But, coaching has definitely lost way since all of us have grown up. I think that's, everyone can kind of look around and notice that. But what needs to change? What has to change? And then what are things that you would look for as a parent and a coach?
So 2 questions. How do I feel about like contact football type of stuff? And what am I looking for in a coach if I have a kid that's 8 to 12 years old? Am I correct with that, Ryan?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a football per se, just youth,
All right.
a youth sport coach in general.
I want someone who's going to be tough on my kid. Like, I think that it's important to, set a boundary. Like unfortunately, as a kid, like you have to hear things that you don't want to hear. You have to do things that you don't want to do. And sometimes it seems like it's kind of okay. The kind of push it to the side and don't make it a big deal. But I think it's like a balance of being tough when it's time to be tough and being understanding, loving, caring, compassionate when that time is needed. And I want somebody who can motivate my kid, my son or daughter. Like that's what like my job has been since I graduated from college. I don't say I'm a teacher. I don't say I'm a coach. Like I'm a professional motivator. Like I want somebody who can find a way to, understand my child and get them to break through that barrier when they think that they can't do something.
Yep,
and,
for sure.
I feel like, today, you want to bring up the participation trophy argument, which I feel like this is where you were going, Brian.
Yeah, but not necessarily.
I was going to hit it.
We've
if
talked
you did
about
it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Ray,
Yeah,
we've
I would
talked
have
about
said
it.
it.
Ray would have said it.
The participation trophy thing it's a tough line.
It's a joke.
It's
It's a joke. What are you learning from when you're giving something to somebody? You learn nothing. You got to earn it. Here, buddy. Hey, little Johnny.
I mean, it's different though, because that's how we were all raised, though. That's how we were all raised. It's a different time now.
Right,
It's
but
a
now
different
look what's
time.
happening in the world. The world's falling apart. Someone had a comment up there that Roger, we're going to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, it was
Is that
just
a Roger
one of his
quote?
favorite lines.
Somebody said it over there. I read it.
Yeah.
that is a right.
But I believe it. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
You got to earn stuff. You got to earn shit. Earn something. And you can go off of what I said if you'd like.
All right, that was thank you. You said it. I didn't.
That's it.
But that, Brian, to answer your question, that's what I'd be looking for in somebody to coach my kid.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I think at least all of us with sports backgrounds and everything like that, like growing up, we have like a few important male figures in our lives. And, whether it's your dad or if you didn't grow up with a dad, it's your uncle. But everyone either has dad or uncle, and then they have coach that, I still call coach, from 20 years ago. And I still see him today, or my college football coach, my high school football coach. They have that, the good ones at least have that, everlasting, impact and footprint that they left behind. And it's, I have a few buddies in the coaching high school baseball in Connecticut and a few buddies coaching high school football. And the turnaround now is just, in a big part of it is politics. A huge part of it is politics from at least everything that I've experienced. Where, back in the day we had guys, my high school football coach was there for like 30 years. These youth Pop Warner coaches, youth Little League coaches, they didn't just coach because their kid was going through the school system. They didn't just coach because they happened to be in that school system. They coached because they actually enjoyed it and loved it. And, when you have a guy that's there for decades, compared to, these young guys going out there and, a bunch of 22, 25-year-old head coaches throughout the state. And, we're in a Dr. Seuss's bad world now where, Dr. Seuss is bad. And, God forbid you look at a kid the wrong way, or you don't remind the kid when practice is. It's especially in this state, hell's raised. So I think that's a huge, huge part of it too, at least from what I've heard.
Hey, listen, Grease is rapey. Dr. Seuss is something else.
It's actually, I think it's Dr. Seuss Day today, isn't it?
That was yesterday.
Dr. Seuss
It was
is no
yesterday.
longer a part
Was it?
of
Virginia. Virginia School Board took Dr. Seuss out all the schools.
Wow.
gone,
But-
and it's going to make its way. It's going to make its way.
But let's be honest here. We can turn on the radio and we can listen to the WAP.
That's true.
We can listen to that wet ass. You know what I'm saying?
Nice job, Raymond. You refrained yourself. I love it.
That's a
Good
word
job.
I don't like to really
Great
throw
job.
out
I know.
there.
That's
job,
good.
man.
That's good.
But seriously, and we got Mr.
Well, you
Potato.
understand- you understand-
And
you
Mr.
understand where I'm
Potato
going.
Head, but they ain't got their shit together, Hasbro. Great job.
Yeah, way to go.
But that's what, that's kind of what society's come to from, I think, which is giving. I blame it all on the participation trophy because people expect to get what they want.
Yeah.
Whether you earn it or you don't earn it. If you want it, you go get it. If you don't have any drive, what do you got to have drive for? Why get good grades in school when I can go to college for free? Right?
It's okay to be told no once in a while.
That is true.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No,
You're not good enough. Sorry.
It is what it is.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Just like Roger told me. He told me I couldn't hit the bro. I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat, apparently. So I'm going to the bullpen. See you later, kid. You're not good enough. You got Mikey Aldrich. He's going to be hitting 500-foot bombs in the five hole. You know what I mean? All right, coach. I'll see you. I'll be in the bullpen. Have a nice day. That's what it is. But guess what? It's okay because it's a constructive criticism. And it's like, hey, kid, you hit some line drives in high school. Good for you. This is great. This ain't high school anymore.
Hey, Notter. Go rub some balls in the bullpen.
That's what I did. I chewed a lot of tobacco, spit a lot of sunflower seeds, but I love my time in the bullpen.
How much did you learn from that one experience?
A ton. I'm telling you, it was. I don't even know because I remember going home and I'm like, man, I was just told like, that was it. It wasn't like I'm going to give this kid another chance. You had your chance, right? And I did have another chance. Fortunately, I could play another position. I could pitch,
Sure.
But I'm telling you, like, I was
He
like,
knew already. I know him.
Yeah. Yeah. He knew. Of course he did. And I knew too. I'm not going to be able to hit home runs like Mikey Aldrich. What are you kidding me? No way. It's not going to happen.
I can't even get the ball. I can't even get the bat in the ball.
Mike Mitchell.
Yeah.
But humble pie.
Oh, God. Yeah. Absolutely.
See, now this, Brian, this is something that I believe in.
Yeah.
If you've never eaten humble pie, if nobody has ever put you in check in your life, you're probably not going to be that down to earth. You're probably not going to be that successful what you're doing. And that's just the way it is. So Roger gave you your slice.
He did.
Because you were the best player Montville ever seen. All over the place.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's
and then
nice.
Boom. Hey, guess what? Sorry. You're in the pen. And you had to change the way you like your mental psyche was forever changed.
Yeah, it was. And it did put me in check because I knew going in that I had the ability to pitch and I had the chance to play third base. I knew I wasn't going to touch first base. Stevie Hiscock was over there. He was nasty. But I knew when Mikey, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to every point too. I'm like, oh, there goes my shot at third base. I know I ain't going over there, but at least I could throw strikes. That's what I could do. So, but yeah,
Mike Mitchell would have beat you out if it wasn't me.
No, that's true. No, it's true but Mike Mitchell is one of those guys, and we keep talking about Mike Mitchell, and it's one of those things. If you don't know the guy, he's just one of the best guys ever. But that dude didn't get a whole lot of playing time because you were over there, and he got platooned a little bit. He would play a little first base. He was kind of all over the place. But that dude was the first one that was out of that dugout, giving you a high five or yelling in your face, let's go. He was all in. He was dirtier than
two knee braces on.
The kid had bad knees.
Could barely move.
The kid, but guess what? He was dirtier than some of the guys on the field. I swear to God, I think he would roll around in the dugout.
Heart of the line.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
He was on the field. He played.
He did play.
Yeah, he did play. Yeah. But, I mean, he didn't get as much time as like Mikey did or some of the other guys did because we had a pretty heavy sophomore team. We had a lot of sophomores on the team. So. But yeah, he was always one of the best guys ever, man. It was great.
Yeah, hey, really quick about the whole trophy thing. Kind of fast forwarding. This is the world that this new generation is growing up in. Okay, real quick story. Weeks ago,
let me grab my pillow.
Here we go. My brother-in-law, a lot younger than I am, met a girlfriend. Or met a girl, little girlfriend. They came over our house. They were in town, and then they asked if they can bring their other friends, another couple, so younger, right? And I don't know how. I mean, I'm assuming you guys were raised the same back in the day, but I don't care if you're going over someone's house. If someone invites you over to their house, or you go to someone's house with your girl, your guy, you bring something. Okay, I don't care if you're bringing a bottle of $10 bottle of wine, maybe a tray of cookies. You bring something. You don't show up somewhere with nothing. An ungrateful SOB showed up at our house. Oh, how are you? Good, nice to meet you. The whole shake the hand, don't look you in the eye type guy.
Oof, yeah.
Like young kid thought.
Like it was limp. It was limp too, right?
Yeah,
you could probably
good
squeeze
shape,
it.
dude. You got to shove the V dude in the other V dude. If the V's don't go, it's not a good shake.
This sounds kind of like a. Never mind.
Yeah, right. Let's settle down. But no, seriously. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. That's how we were raised. I don't care where you're going, who you're going with. When you're invited over someone's house, you bring something. It's American 101. Okay, Ronald Reagan would look at this kid today and be like, what the hell is going on? So that's this generation where everything is I just feel like I just get everything because I'm here and because I'm in this situation and everything should be given to me. Oh, I'm a financial advisor in Boston. Yeah, do me a favor, go outside and go home. How about that? So that's just this generation that's moving forward where everything's offensive. We're being told how great we are, and it's affecting sports, but it's also affecting everyday life.
Brian, you want to play a game real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm in.
All right. I'm going to count to 3. Rock, paper, scissor.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Scissor.
Boom.
You got it. Well, we tied. We tied. So that was just one round. We're not doing this all night.
Thank God.
But
Thank God we're not doing
man,
this all night.
It is what it is, man. Scissor, scissor, scissor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Brian, we were talking
that dude sits when he pees. Wait, who? Which one? Can you be more descriptive when you say that?
I think he's talking about the guy that came to Brian's house. I'm thinking that's what he's thinking.
100%.
Yeah.
The kid sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, we were talking to Mike.
His ass.
So we were talking to Mike a few minutes ago, and we're talking about this card thing, right? We got a little card. We're getting into the card business a little bit, and Ray's got some cards over here that he's going to open from you. And he wanted a little brief education on it. Ray had mentioned, he's like, I got some Panini Prisms in here.
Yes.
And Mikey looked at me, he goes, can somebody educate me on what a Panini Prism is? And I said, dude, we got a guy for you. He's coming on. Yeah. He'll throw it down a little bit. Right now, dude, I'm not really sure if you follow the card thing or not, but cards are booming, like big money in cards.
And they were
now.
really down.
They're really down, and now they're back up. Once COVID hit, man, people started getting into the card thing again because there were no sports. They're like, oh, we're going to start collecting cards. And right now, the card business is crazy. It's crazy.
I'm getting excited. It's like Christmas.
Yeah. So if you guys watched our show last week, we had Pete Cambrio from Buffalo on with Brian. Brian got him on the show for us.
Smell you.
Yeah, smell you.
but I ended up. Brian actually opened the box as well as Pete. So I told Brian I will buy that box from you, which I did. And I got it in the mail today, which is kind of cool. So I do have a few Prism cards here. Todd Gurley, which I think these are the ones. These are the
those are the ones I threw in.
Brian threw me these. So if you want to take a look at that, I got he gave me a Todd Gurley on top of the rest, a Amari Cooper Panini Prism, and a Melvin Gordon as well. Melvin Gordon, San Diego.
Nice.
Superchargers.
Yeah,
those are 2015, right? 15 rookie.
Yeah, these are all rookies.
Those are all rookie cards. So I'm
going
to have to send those out. And Brian just threw me probably like $500, maybe more. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. So I mean,
nice cards.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I can do like a quick overview.
Yeah, fill Mikey in a little bit, and some of the people that are watching may not know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, everyone was kind of big into it, whether you were 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 back in the 90s, 80s, whenever, collecting cards, and it was such a it's called like the junk wax era, where there was so many different companies, they printed so many different cards, so there wasn't a rarity to it. So it was overproduced. The supply and demand just wasn't there. And fast forward, those same kids that were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 collecting cards 20 years ago, well, guess what? Now they have 2, 5, 8-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids. And COVID really not forced them, but kind of opened their eyes and getting back into this hobby a little bit. And now there's only a few companies out there that produce cards. So the supply is a lot lower than it was, 20, 30 years ago. The demand is through the roof. So, back then there was, 10 million Jeter rookie cards, versus today there, Justin Herbert, there may be only 2,000 of them. So the supply is definitely a lot lower. The cards are more rare, values increase. And then another part besides COVID is, the sneakerheads that used to wait in line back in the day at Foot Locker and Champs and Nike and Adidas. Well, ever since they got away a couple years back of, paying some of your boys to stand in line for you, grab some shoes and resell them. When it moved to like the online raffle, when kicks come out, now you have to go online and, enter a raffle, buy a bot, and hopefully you get, your shoes. Well, these guys are figuring out, well, why am I buying 20 pairs of $200 shoes? Yeah, I may double my money, triple my money, but it's a lot up front. You may not get a lot of inventory versus now, like I gave a good example last week. I was really high on Luka Doncic a couple years ago, and I bought 50 of his rookie cards.
What a bad player, huh?
Well, now, that $15, $20 card I bought, is in a PSA 10 today is like $2,000.
It's crazy.
So the rarity is better. Like I said, all the shoe guys moving over to the card industry, because it's a lot easier to buy 1,000 rookie cards than it is to, try to get 1,000 shoes online now. So, there's a big financial guys that are getting into it, like Gary Vee. I know one of Warren Buffett's companies has actually got into some online NFT sports card stuff. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It really is. What did I talk about, Chris, last time? Kobe Bryant's documentary is coming out. So little things like that will affect the price of a Kobe Bryant rookie card. It may overnight, fivefold or tenfold overnight based off of performances, based off of MVP awards, based off of like LaMelo Ball last night dropped 38-6. His rookie cards went up 20% overnight. So it's pretty crazy. It's actually mind blowing.
Yeah. And no, go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
So, Brian, you put one of these Phillip Rivers. It's a Phillip Rivers bronze card, Prism.
Yep.
And you put it in a hard plastic. And then I have a Peyton Manning in here, which is just a silver Prism. Can you explain why the Phillip Rivers is probably worth more money than the Peyton Manning? Because Peyton Manning is one of the top 3 all-time best or top 5, I'd say. Quarterbacks ever.
So obviously, like if this was 1998 and that was Peyton Manning's rookie card, you'd be sitting on a pretty good penny there. But rookie cards and then like second-year cards have some value, but rookie cards are really the only cards that carry true value of the player. Then you look at like parallels, like you have that that Panini Prism like orange laser you can hold up.
Yep.
Compared to like just pick up like a regular card, and I'll explain the difference.
Yep.
So the orange cards are printed. I think it's like it's either 1 in 30 or a 1 in 40 chance. So every time you pull that player, 39 out of 40 times you're going to pull that regular base card, and then 1 out of 40 times you're going to pull the orange, which is like a parallel, which is like you're buying a Porsche, but you're upgraded to the 9/11 anniversary series that they only released a few of. But yeah, that's the best way I can describe sports cards as well, like Panini, Panini Prism, and like Panini Select. Those are like your Bentleys and Lamborghinis, and then you go to like Topps and all that stuff. That's like your Toyotas and Lexuses and stuff like that. So the quality of the card affects the value of the card as well.
Mm-hmm. So there's a bronze DK Metcalf in here also.
Yeah, that's the second-year rookie, so that's pretty
second-year card, which I'm like, I'm about to take Phillip Rivers out of the packet and put DK in there.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Ray, this didn't give you a lot of top loaders, to be completely honest with you.
Wait, what?
He didn't give you a lot of top loaders. I mean, I think Brian. I think
I ran out of top loaders. So
yeah,
I didn't put all the cards in.
So Brian,
that's cool. It's
oh yeah, I mean the DK cards is sweet. I'm a big fan of that one. So Brian, we got a couple people on here. Justin, our regular follower, and Dave as well. PSA. So for those who don't know who PSA is or what it is, you can send out your cards to get graded. Obviously, if it's a 9 or a 10, you want to see 10s. They go up in value big time. PSA, because they are so backed up and because they are doing so much business, they actually up the prices per card to send out and get a card graded. Now you're looking for $100 to grade a card. Brian, what type of cards should you be looking for to grade? Is it worth grading right now, or is it something people should just kind of wait out to see if PSA ends up dropping their prices again?
Yeah, I think it was a good decision on their end just because their prices were somewhat affordable before, and especially before COVID, before they raised their prices for the first time, where what they're trying to weed out is people just sending in anything. And that's kind of what's backing them up. So when you grade a card, and I'll give you a perfect example. It's you can't just pull a card out of a pack just because it's brand new, send it in and thinking you're going to get a 10. Printing machines are all messed up. The card may not be printed or centered. So they look at centering, they look at any scuffs on the surface, edges, corners. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's not as simple as them taking a card and being like, oh, that's a 9, that's a 10, et cetera, et cetera. So
DK Metcalf's off center, by the way. No wonder why
you can see it, right? You can see the difference, right?
Yeah, actually, if you look at it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty off center, and you can tell, Brian. And actually, sometimes I get
It
cards.
should be worth more money if it's not perfect.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how it works. But sometimes I'll send pictures of my cards to Brian to be like, dude, so I just don't have an eye for that stuff. Sometimes I can't tell. So I'll be like, Brian, is this off centered? Is it worth even sending in? I have some cards that I would love to send in to get graded, but I also don't want to spend $500 just to grade 5 cards. I mean, that's crazy to me. You better be making a significant, amount of money off the card if you're going to be sending it in for that much money.
Yeah. And you can, before you even send a card in, like if it has a high value when it's not graded, that is a direct, assertion that it's going to skyrocket once it's graded. Like Justin Herbert's rookie cards right now are $200 just out of a pack, ungraded.
It's crazy.
If you grade them and they get a 10, you're looking at a $1,500 to $1,700 card.
And right back.
Boom, 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 just like that. So a card like that, I would send in, and your Justin Jeffersons and your non-elite quarterback players or defensive guys that you have that you're high on, like Chase Young's really never going to be worth anything. Defensive players never hold value in the NFL. Wide receivers, not really. Like Jerry Rice rookie cards, one of the greatest to ever do it. Joe Burrow's rookie card is worth more than Jerry Rice.
So you're pretty much looking at quarterbacks, wide receivers. Primarily quarterbacks for the most part.
Yeah, primarily quarterbacks. Like I said, if you have those guys, definitely send them in. And then the older cards, if you're going through your collection, and this is just for me, not to help you not waste your money. Because I know a bunch of people were, texting us over the past few days, like, I'm going through, I found some cards that I had back in the day. And I can't believe, they typed the card in on eBay and they're like, holy crap, this is a $40,000 card. Well, that's if it's in, pristine and near mint condition. Chances are none of us, from 20, 30 years ago, put a card in a sleeve, put a card in a top loader, kept it in a, humidified room. So always look at the card, always look at the corners, edges. And if it looks damn near incredible and it's a high value card, definitely send it in.
So why don't you just let everybody know what kind of cards you want to stay away from? Because there's other cards out there, and people will ask me like, hey, I just saw this box of Tops or this box of whatever. It was $17.99 at Walmart, Target, wherever they're getting them. What are the cards to stay away from, and why do you stay away from those cards?
I think if you're getting, obviously everyone's budget's different. Everyone can afford different things, but typically if you find a deal on something, or if something is so cheap to the point where, let's just put it this way. If you can buy a box of cards with $100 bill and get change back, this is a good rule of thumb. If you can pull out $100 bill and get change back for a box of cards, most likely they're not the cards you want to buy. The NFL Prism Blasters, and these are I ripped these last week. These are 6 packs, 4 cards in a pack. So just 24 cards. When these came out, these were at Target, Walmart, et cetera, et cetera. Now these are like $120, $130 a box. So Prism Select are 2 in the football and basketball world that you want to look at. Prism and Select is a good rule of thumb. Stick to those 2. Baseball is a little different just because of licensing issues. Like Panini doesn't have baseball's license. So Topps and Bowman are the 2 companies that produce baseball cards.
Remember Bowman
so
cards?
Like Topps Chrome is a really good baseball card. Bowman Sapphire. And if, a couple $100 a box is normal today. So don't, shy away from that. A couple $100 for a box may seem like a lot, but, for instance, that $130 box of 24 cards, I pull a Joe Burrow, a Herbert, Hertz, I just 3 times my box, with one pull. So you can make a ton of money. It's like gambling, but it's, when you lose, at least you're still getting cards.
Yeah,
It's true.
You don't lose.
You're getting something out of it. And it's,
yeah.
it's funny because the Bowman Sapphires, those cards for like a mega box, actually for a Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I don't know if it's a blaster, but there's a box of Bowman Sapphire MLB cards that average price is like close to $700 a box now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane. But if you pull that, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm forgetting his name, but there's a couple rookies that are in those boxes. You pull them, you're looking at $1,500 right out of the box, not even graded for those.
Oh, for sure.
For those cards.
And if you're getting into this and you want to essentially like buy a few milestone Hall of Fame cemented athletes like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, doesn't necessarily have to be their rookie cards, but those are safe investments in terms of cards that will never go down in value. So you can like take half, say you're like, I want to get into this. I want to spend $1,000. Well, take $500, buy some cemented guys that are going to hold or increase in value, and then take your other $500 and buy some boxes of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like LeBron James, for instance. 2 years ago, it wasn't worth nearly as much as it is today, but I had 2 when I first started collecting that I kept, Topps Chrome LeBron rookie cards. I have one PSA 9 and one PSA 10. I think I showed it on the show earlier. But Chris, go on eBay and see what, type in LeBron James Topps Chrome PSA 10, just to give people an idea of what some of these rookie cards for these like Hall of Famers could go for. And it's gonna
Topps
blow your
Chrome
mind.
rookie PSA 10. It's gonna blow my mind because I think I know how much it is. You're looking at like
Jesus.
$21,000. That's crazy. $21,000. I mean, there's a chrome black refractor, LeBron James rookie PSA 10. Only 20 have been graded ever. That's going for $694,000, almost $695,000 with 31 people that are watching the bidding right now on that card.
Great cash, homie. And a big in the sports card industry, a Luka Doncic a couple days ago. Some of you guys may have seen it online, but just goes to show like the money that you could possibly make in this, where someone sold a Luka Doncic 1 of 1. So there's only one of that card in existence. A logo man, which is like the NBA logos on it, autographed rookie card. And it just sold after taxes and fees, $4.6 million.
That's crazy
for one card. And a guy pulled that out of a $2,000 or $3,000 box.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's the risk you're taking, right? So you're buying that $2,000, $3,000 box with a chance to pull a 1 of 1 Luka that's worth $4 million. I mean, if you got the money and you're willing to gamble that, then that's crazy,
Crazy.
So
This makes me think of the stock market, Brian.
Yeah.
And COVID,
absolutely.
Right. Everybody doesn't have a lot of, they have a lot of money to spend. Those who are unemployed. And it's like, we couldn't gamble on sports for a little while.
Yeah.
So we're going to gamble on this.
We're going to do some cards. Yeah.
We're going to inflate the stock market a little bit.
It is. I mean, it is. It's kind of like, some of these guys, they treat the card game like day trading, right? I mean, it's, you go on Instagram and you see guys like, Bay Area Pull and Mully cards and all these guys that are ripping cards. It's a full-time job for them. It is literally a full-time job. They're opening up cards for other people. And, you're spending that money on that one box and then boom, you get that $1,500 Joe Burrow or something like that and you're set, man. That's awesome. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So not to get off topic, but I will just because that's how I roll. 2 things I want to talk about real quick is the sweatshirt that Mikey's wearing right now, Land Sharks baseball. And number 2, a huge thing, and David Morrison threw it up there, and I completely, it didn't cross my mind because I talked about it before we got here today, is Mohegan Sun and the state of Connecticut legalized sports gambling, which is going to be really great because we're definitely going to be doing something with a show for that. And if you guys have been watching our show, we did a football segment. It was called the Sharp 5, where we had Dr. De Niro pick his picks against the spread. And he was successful. He hit over 60% winner, chicken dinner.
That's it.
But before we get into the gambling Mohegan Sun, I just want to ask, Mikey, do you have connections with Coastal Land Sharks, or is this you're supportive of their team? What do we got going on here? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Land Sharks baseball is a buddy of mine, Jason Wolfrat, who was also an Avery Point alum. Noticing some connections here.
Yeah.
And Mike Joyce as well, who was
Mhm.
another Avery Point alum who went on to play Hartford. He is phys ed teacher, Wolfrat is, at Fitch High School with me.
Nice.
And he has two sons, a 10 and a 14-year-old, maybe 11 and 14. I might be missing a little bit. But I've been able to spend a little bit of time with them over the years. And this is kind of his AAU organization that he created based out of Pawcatuck, Connecticut.
Sure.
So I was able to spend some time with them over the winter, helping them out as best I could. And
Awesome.
it's a beautiful sweatshirt. And
It is nice.
Had,
It's a cool
had,
logo.
had to give the shout out to
Nice.
Coach Wolfrat and Land Sharks baseball.
Awesome.
That's it.
There you go. Check it out. You guys can check that out on Twitter. I'm sure probably other platforms as well, but I do have it pulled up on Twitter right now because I noticed the shirt earlier.
Mhm.
We were doing some talking, got off topic. Next thing you know, we're pulling out cards, and I'm like, we got about 10 minutes left in the show, so we want to make sure that we can kind of pick Mikey's brain before we're done here. What do you think of sports gambling? I don't know if I can ask you that.
No,
it's about to get legalized. We're not going to talk about marijuana. All right. This is a sports show. We're talking about legal sports gambling.
Right.
It's legal in other states. It might not be in Connecticut. God, that goes for marijuana too. But we're a sports show, not a marijuana show. If you want to watch that, then tune in somewhere else. What's your thoughts on the sports gambling, and what do you think it brings to the area, the state?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go for it, man.
I mean, I'm going to say this. Personally, I don't gamble a ton on sports.
Sure.
But I play fantasy football
Of course.
with that group of my high school buddies that are now all over the country, and it is our glue, man. It's basically what keeps us together.
Sure.
And it's a small amount of money, and I would correlate that to the same thing as like you're going to get more people to watch sports and be involved in sports when there's a little bit of money on it.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone's doing it in Connecticut anyways.
Right.
They're just finding ways to, siphon it to Jersey or wherever.
It's easy.
I am not,
it's really easy.
It's going offshore to
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for us to find a way as a state to bring some revenue in, it's happening anyways.
Right.
So I would absolutely be 100% for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the big bucks to throw down, but same thing. I mean, we all play fantasy football. Ray and I are going to be in a pretty big fantasy baseball league this year, as always. And I will throw the $20-$30 down if in fact it's something I really feel good about. You know what I mean? I just don't have the money to throw down the big bets, but I think it's good. It's like Mikey said, listen, you can go on to Bovado and all these other websites and you put in your credit card number, or your debit card number, and they filter it, and boom, next thing you know, you're in an offshore account somewhere. You can get the money back in Bitcoin or whatever type of currency you want and turn it into cash eventually. It's good for sports. And if people want to spend their hard-earned money on gambling and try and make a profit off of a game, who's going to stop them? Just go ahead and do it. It's going to bring in good revenue for the state. It's only a matter of time. Foxwoods has a deal with DraftKings, and Mohegan Sun is going to, legalize it now. So, hey, I'm excited for it. It does make it more fun watching the game every once in a while. You know what I mean? So,
Brian, I know you're excited. Why don't you give us your 101?
I'm
sorry. You're 411. You're 411.
Are you kidding me? I mean,
I already know you're going to give the 101, but you don't have time for that.
The times I've been to Vegas, if you guys can see me half in the bag during kickoff on Sundays, I mean, you want to talk about one of the greatest, I would say probably the third greatest moment of my life. One was when my daughter was born. 2 was when I got married. And then 3 was a few years ago. I don't even really remember placing the bet, but I threw a 5-teamer down in Vegas, down in a bachelor party. It was the opening week, Packers, Bears, and I am hammered down on the under for the game. And I think I was high-fiving. I think I got COVID 3 years ago back then. I high-fived everyone. And it was probably the most joyous time, one of the most joyous times of my life, is just absolutely getting, hammered and then taking a parlay and then hoping a couple bucks turns into a lot of bucks. I mean, it's just a great time. And to be able to do it in our own home state and to make the state money when we've been running on a deficit for X amount of years. Yeah, I tell you what, it's a win-win, fellas. It's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Brian, we're gonna be rocking and rolling here in a minute. We're gonna sign off shortly. We appreciate you coming on as always, Brian. Why don't you fill people in that are watching right now on what's going on next Tuesday live, real quick before we let you go.
Yeah, so next Tuesday we got a good amount of feedback with the sports card craze going on right now, and we have another guest who has a breaker /sports card company online on his Instagram and Facebook, Moley Cards. We'll be putting the promo out for that. He's got a ton of followers. He's doing a great job, and he's going to be diving into a little more detail on what's going on in the sports card world. We'll be ripping some cards, and that will be next Tuesday at 7:00.
Next Tuesday.
One quick question before we go though, Chris. Sure. We got to ask our guest here because I've been dying all day. If you had to pick the funniest person, comedian, actor, celebrity, the funniest person to ever live, who would it be for you?
Oh my God.
That's such a tough call, Brian.
I mean, you did, Brian, and I should have brought this up to you earlier, Mike, so you had a minute to think about it. But at the same time, it's good. It's a quick fire question. I mean, you're a funny guy. People that don't know you, you're hilarious. You got to have somebody in your brain.
I got to say Chris Farley.
That's my guy. That's
dude.
my guy.
I got in a huge argument today, dude.
It's
huge argument today about that.
You got Jim Carrey, another great physical. You got Robin Williams, great physical comedian.
Adam Sandler.
I wouldn't put him up there.
My list.
I think he's funny, but I wouldn't put him up there.
My list was Chris Farley number one. I had Bill Burr. I'm a big Bill Burr fan. Guy from Boston. I had Eddie
King
Murphy.
Of Staten Island. I love that.
Great movie, right?
It was
great
good
movie.
because Bill Burr was in it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great movie if you guys haven't checked that one out. I had
Will Ferrell?
young Eddie Murphy on there. Will Ferrell's funny. He was on my list. But he's more movie funny. You know what I mean?
Martin Lawrence. You had Martin back in the day.
I didn't have Martin on mine.
I'm just throwing names on.
I went with Chris too.
I mean, Brian, you and Mike both had Robin Williams. Those were two quick right off the rip.
Yeah, Robin Williams. I mean, gee, what a go! When I thought about it, because it was a huge argument at work, and I know we only have a minute, but the reason why I chose Chris Farley and then I put Robin Williams at two is no matter what he did, whether he was just talking or acting or in an SNL skit or in a movie, everything he did was hilarious. Everything. Like, we want to talk about the most iconic SNL skit ever, The Man Down by the River. That was the best SNL skit ever with David Spade and back then. And, he died at 32, 33 years old. So we didn't even really see him in his peak prime, which is also another reason why I put him on top. But yeah, Chris Farley between Tommy Boy, Beverly Hills Ninja, Coneheads,
Black Sheep was one of my favorites.
Sheep. Yeah. I mean, come on. He did all that in the span of 7 to 9 years, and all of the stuff on Saturday Night Live. Chris Farley, without a doubt. How you doing? For those of you guys listening, just watch The Man Down by the River SNL skit if you haven't in a while, and just repeat it until you go to bed.
They did a great documentary for him too. I want to say maybe it's going back a couple years ago. I don't remember what network did it, but it was like a 2-hour long documentary on Chris Farley. Very, very sad. And if you guys haven't seen it, actually, Adam Sandler, when he does a song for Chris Farley. I think it was my friend Chris Farley or my boy Chris Farley. Almost brought me to tears because I'm a huge Chris Farley fan. And if you watch Adam Sandler up there singing that on his guitar, it's beautiful. And they have a montage of his best videos and clips and things like that. It's pretty cool. So yeah, well, this could be a topic that we could dive back into though on a future episode, because I think we just
we'll have Malvesti on.
Yeah, we'll get Mike Malvesti on. That's a great idea. He'll definitely have some input on that For sure. So, all right, Brian, listen, thank you very
All right,
much.
guys.
We appreciate it. Tuesday, guys, next Tuesday, don't miss it. Brian will be back with us. We're going to be talking to Connor from Mully Cards. We're going to be diving back into the sports card thing. So, Mikey, I'm going to give the floor to you for a second. We got a minute left. Do you have anything you want to say? Anybody you want to say hello to, or anything that's on your mind? What do you think?
Hi, Mom.
The classic.
I've never been on TV.
No,
before,
it's pretty
really.
cool.
I honestly just want to say hi to my mom and my brothers and my dad and my family. Love you all.
Nice. Excellent. Well, listen, man, we appreciate you coming on the show. We had a blast. I think we should probably do this again in the future. We'll break down some more. We'll talk a little bit more sports and maybe get into some more comedy stuff. You know, I mean, you never know. So listen, guys, thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Mike, thank you again for coming on the show. Ray, you have any parting words for us?
Well, you know what? No, I'm good.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you guys Saturday morning for a 9 o'clock show. Forward TV, Ray Bones and Otter Show, Do Not Sports. Mikey Aldrich, thank you again. Enjoy your night, guys. Thank you.